Hi, my friends. Most people think the heart chakra is about love. It's not. It's about truth with compassion. And this is the chakra where intuition becomes usable in real life. Because before this point, intuition is just feelings and vibes and hunches, right? The heart is where those hunches turn into discernment, boundaries, emotional intelligence, and self trust. And this is exactly where people lose their intuition the fastest. Not in meditations or in spiritual practices, in relationships, in conversations, in the day to day life. Your heart has its own nervous system. Scientists call it the little brain in the heart. You feel truth in your chest before you can explain it in your head. You know those moments when you're like, something feels off, but I don't know why. That didn't start as a thought, it started as a perception. That's the heart chakra talking. You know, when you're with somebody, especially a real close person, usually like a romantic relationship or, even a friendship or a coworker, but somebody that you're really close to. And this conversation is spiraling down real fast. And all of a sudden, you don't feel safe. You feel like you don't want to be there anymore. Your chest is tightening, and you're like, how did this turn so fast? Right? But instead of getting irritated, you're like, "Oh, no, no, hold on, hold on. Maybe they don't mean that. Maybe you're overreacting. Maybe, you go from your heart already knowing what's going on and your brain taking over because you need to be nice, right? You need to be understanding. That's the mind overriding the heart. Okay. For example, when somebody asks you for a favor and you're like, I don't want to do that. But all of a sudden you can hear your mouth saying, sure. That split second, that's the spark, the heart speaking first and the mind jumping in to keep harmony, right? For example, you make a choice, a decision that's right for you, and then you spend the next 10 minutes explaining to the other person so the other person can understand and approve, right? Or doesn't feel bad. You're trying to manage their emotions instead of honoring your truth. That is heart chakra imbalance. Another example, you may say no, you create your space, you take time for yourself, and then you feel guilty all day. Not because it was a wrong choice, but because you're not used to listening to your heart over other people's expectations. Most people don't have heart chakra issues, they have boundary issues disguised as love. What they call love is often a lot of overgiving or overextending yourself or explaining too much or forgiving too much. And that is not love, that is self abandonment. When the heart chakra is balanced, it's not that you become mean or cold or whatever, you just become clear. You can say, that doesn't work for me, and leave it alone, right? Without any guilt or without a long speech or emotional drama. So without feeling guilty, you stop needing to people to understand you in order to honor yourself. This is where intuition becomes emotional intelligence because now you're not just feeling things, you're trusting what you feel. You're allowing the heart's perception to guide your choices instead of letting your mind talk you out of it. And this is why people lose their intuition the fastest in love, family, friendships, and work, in the relationships, because those are the places we are most willing to ignore what we know. The heart chakra is not about being loving, it's about being honest. And honesty is one of the most loving things you can do for yourself and everybody else around you. And this week, we're going to be talking about what that looks like in real life. See you in the group. Bye.